What's up everyone, it's Alex. Today's video is in response to Paul. And Paul caught me. Paul called me out. Paul said, unfortunately, you missed the best adventure bike of them all, the BMW R1250GS. It has and does everything a rider could want, but you would have to be prepared to pay the price. Comment from Australia. And that was in response to me giving some recommendations on adventure bikes to another viewer. So Paul, you are absolutely correct. In my recommendations, I forgot the BMW GS. Shame on me. Shame. Shame. I forgot the BMW GS in that video. When I was making my recommendations in that video, I was basing it more on bikes that were readily available and I thought would be easy to find, inexpensive, cheaper, except for the Super Tenere. It's pretty hard to find those. Super Tenere and the Ducati are kind of hard to find cheaper, but for the most part, I was kind of going for bikes readily available, cheaper to find. I should have mentioned the BMW GS series bikes. And I don't mean just the 1250GS. I mean the 1150GS, the 1200GS, the 1250GS. Those are all incredible motorcycles. So basically the bikes that defined the adventure touring genre. The early V-Stroms did too, but the BMW GS bikes really defined what it meant to have an adventure touring motorcycle. A motorcycle that could go anywhere you wanted to go, as far as you wanted to go on the highway, get off the highway if you can deal with the fact that they're a little bit heavier. We'll get to that in a minute. Get off the highway. If you want to go anywhere and you want to go touring on a motorcycle and you don't want to have any limitations, the BMW GS Adventure bikes really help to define that entire genre of motorcycles. So shame on me for forgetting BMW GS Adventure bikes when recommending adventure bikes. So let me go ahead and clarify it now and go ahead and call it now. If you want an adventure bike and you want an incredible motorcycle, go sit on, look at, and consider a BMW GS. And I would really recommend any of them from the 1150 on. 1150, 1200, 1250, any of them. The biggest problem you're going to run into, as Paul admitted, was you are going to pay more money usually for a BMW GS Adventure bike compared to other bikes that you look at in the same years and the same category, whether you're looking new, used, whatever. The BMW GS Adventure bikes will usually cost you more money than a V-Strom 1000 or anything else I've mentioned if you're looking at similar years, conditions, and mileage. Reason for that being they start more expensive to begin with. But the reason for that is they are fantastic. They are a refined, perfected adventure touring bike. I think the Yamaha Tenere and the Africa Twin come really, really close too, and you really can't argue with a Multistrada either, but the BMW Adventure bikes are a quintessential bike in that category. What you're getting with the BMW GS Adventure Series bikes is you are getting a large, and I'm just going to say large because they came in different sizes, different years, but you are getting a large, horizontally opposed twin-cylinder motorcycle with tall suspension, an upright, neutral, comfortable seating position, and all the capable characteristics to ride on the highway, off the beaten path, wherever you want to ride. It's built off of the opposed Boxer motor, which is a proven, reliable, awesome design that BMW has been making forever. Basic maintenance on those motors is not very difficult. Lots of people have done thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of miles of cross-world touring on these motorcycles, basically just changing the oil every few thousand miles and rock on. If you do have to have a dealer work on them, usually a BMW bike is going to cost you more because BMW dealers just tend to charge more for maintenance and the bikes tend to take longer to work on according to BMW dealers. So if you're going to have a BMW, I highly advise you to learn how to work on it yourself and to get a service manual so you can do your own services. The people I know that have BMW GS bikes that do their own services are much happier with them and keep them for 50, 60, 70, 100,000 miles doing their own services. No problem. You need some tools, you need a service manual. Highly recommend you learn to work on it yourself if you're going to have one. If you just have tons of money and don't want to work on it yourself and you want to have it worked on, great. Take it to your BMW dealer. They will take great care of it for you. They will also take very good care of your wallet at the same time by making sure there's nothing left in it. At least that's how the local BMW dealer here is. You're not going to get out of there for anything reasonable when it comes to service costs. But that's me correcting my mistake. You are absolutely correct. I forgot the BMW GS Adventure bikes. They are a fantastic series of bikes. Every bit as good or better than the other bikes that I mentioned. I do think for an adventure bike, for a big adventure bike on a budget, it's really hard to beat a V-Strom 1000. You are not going to get a BMW GS Adventure bike that's in good shape for the kind of money you can get a V-Strom 1000 for, so there's that. I think the Super Tenere, Multistrada, and Africa Twin do a good job of giving the GS Adventure a run for its money, but BMW GS Adventure was the originator of the adventure category. Very popular bike, proven track record, amazing motorcycle. If you can do your own maintenance, I would also highly recommend it. If you can find one used, go for it. You cannot go wrong. Also, the other bikes I mentioned in the other video, fixing my mistake. That's it. I'm Alex. Peace.